The late afternoon sun stretched long golden lines across the marble steps of Crestwood Town Hall, making the heavy oak doors gleam like they held the weight of every decision ever made inside. Through those doors, the weekly Infrastructure Committee meeting had already begun. City officials in tailored suits hunched over polished mahogany tables, voices a low, privileged hum. Outside stood Amara Lewis, a 23-year-old community volunteer whose hands trembled around a thick blue binder. Inside that binder lived months of work: petitions, budget outlines, sketches of a dream called the Southside Youth Center. It was more than numbers. It was the promise of a safe space for kids to learn music, chess, robotics, a future bigger than the streets. She adjusted the lanyard with her name clearly printed in bold. The confirmation email glowed on her phone screen. Everything about her presence was official. Yet as she reached for the brass handle, a uniformed guard slid one muscular arm across the doorway like a drawbridge gate. "Closed meeting," he said without looking at her badge. "I'm on the agenda," Amara replied, keeping her voice even though her stomach tightened like a fist. The guard didn't even glance at the phone she held out. "Only committee members and invited speakers." "I am an invited speaker," she pressed, showing the email. He gave it a cursory glance and shook his head. "Orders from the chair." Those words hit harder than the cold October wind curling through the stone entryway. Orders. From the very man who had told her, face to face, "We'll hear every voice in the community." Behind the guard, two council members passed through the hall. One raised an eyebrow, whispered something to the other, and they both chuckled before disappearing behind the oak doors. Their laughter felt like a lock clicking shut. Weeks of work flashed through her mind, late nights gathering signatures at the corner grocery. Saturday mornings coaching kids to speak at the rally. Neighbors trusting her with their hopes. Her mother's voice surfaced. "They'll try to tell you no in 1,000 different ways. Don't you dare accept it the first time." So Amara stayed put. She stepped back to the wall, binder pressed to her chest, the cool marble seeping through her sweater. Foot traffic slowed. Aides shot her the kind of sideways glances reserved for someone who didn't know their place. Inside, the muffled rumble of debate teased her: budgets, zoning, the future of her neighborhood, while she stood locked out. Minutes dragged into an hour. Her legs ached, but something deeper ached more: the quiet humiliation of being invisible. Then came the sound of purposeful footsteps echoing against the marble corridor, measured, confident, unhurried. A subtle hush fell over the hallway. From the corner of her eye, Amara caught a flash of navy fabric and the shimmer of a gold lapel pin etched with the state seal: Governor Elaine Carter. The guard snapped to attention, suddenly aware of his posture. Staffers scattered like startled birds. "Ms. Lewis," the governor said, her warm voice carrying an authority that silenced the air. "I hoped I'd find you here." Amara blinked, startled. They had met briefly months ago at a volunteer summit, but she never imagined the governor would remember her name. You came?" Amara stammered. "I told you I believed in this youth center," Governor Carter said, a gentle but firm smile playing across her face. "Let's go inside." The guard stepped back so quickly his radio cord snagged on the doorframe. "Ma'am, The governor's eyes cooled. "This woman is a scheduled speaker and a leader in her community. There is no meeting without the community." And with that, she slipped her arm through Amara's and pushed the doors wide. The room froze. Heads turned. Pens hovered above notepads. Council members in dark suits shifted uneasily as the two women entered, side by side, radiating a quiet force that bent the room's energy. The committee chair, a silver-haired man known for backroom deals and carefully measured smiles, rose to his feet. "Governor Carter," he said, voice a shade too high, "this is an unexpected honor." "Not unexpected," the governor replied evenly. "I said I wanted to hear from the community tonight." This is the community. She gestured toward Amara, and she speaks for it. A ripple of whispers broke out before silence returned like a held breath. Amara felt every eye on her. Her heart pounded so hard she thought the microphones might pick it up. Yet when she stepped to the podium, a calm she hadn't felt all day settled over her. "Thank you, Governor," she began, voice steady. "I'll be brief." She opened her binder. Pages of statistics and hand-drawn charts glowed beneath the overhead lights. Crime reduction in neighborhoods with youth centers, improved graduation rates, letters of support from teachers and parents. She spoke of children who needed a safe space after school, of talent that could blossom if given room. The council members leaned in despite themselves. One tapped a pen, another jotted frantic notes. The chair's forced smile faltered. When Amara finished, silence filled the chamber, a silence heavy enough to feel like judgment. Governor Carter broke it with a single sentence that landed like a gavel. "I will see that the state provides matching funds for this project. I trust the city will meet us halfway." The chair cleared his throat. Of course, Governor. We'll review the proposal immediately." Outside, dusk painted the sky in shades of violet and gold. A crowd had gathered. Neighbors who had followed Amara's campaign online, curious reporters drawn by the sudden appearance of the governor's motorcade. When the doors opened and the two women emerged together, applause erupted. Camera flashes lit the steps like a lightning storm. A journalist thrust a microphone forward. "Ms. Lewis, did you expect the governor to join you tonight?" Amara blinked against the flashbulbs, a tear catching the last light of day. "I only expected to be heard," she said softly. "That's all any of us ask." The governor rested a steady hand on her shoulder and added, "And that is exactly why we're here, to listen and to act." In the weeks that followed, the story traveled far beyond Crestwood. Headlines blazed across social media. Volunteer shut out of meeting, governor walks in with her. 3 million views in a fortnight. Donations surged. The city council, now under the sharp eye of public opinion, voted unanimously to fund the Southside Youth Center. Bulldozers broke ground before winter's first frost. But for Amara, the real triumph wasn't viral fame or even the new building. It was the transformation she witnessed in her neighbors, people who now believed their voices could move the machinery of government, children who watched someone who looked like them bend a system that had long seemed unyielding. When a reporter later asked if she felt bitterness toward those who tried to bar her entry, Amara thought of her mother's wisdom and replied, "Anger is a closed door. Hope is the key that opens it." And as the first steel beams rose against the skyline, she knew this victory was larger than any headline. It was proof that courage and persistence can rewrite the rules of any room, no matter who tries to lock the door.